the world can we ever react in a way that's exaggerated, given what we have suffered in this country for over 400 years?
This belief that whites have a right to live separate and not to integrate was very strong. Strong nationally, but particularly strong in Oregon.
I have always thought that racism in this country should be considered as a mental illness, because that is exactly what it is.
In Portland, a treadmill of frustration.
It's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face of the entire community.
Would ignite a generation.
It was our turn to fight for those things that were right and just and equitable.
And unite a community.
We don't want every woman that walks the streets in Albina to be considered a prostitute. We don't want every young man that walks the streets to be considered a dope peddler.
We were an occupation army. Our job was not to interact or solve problems. It was to suppress things.
This is a story of struggle and triumph.
If you destroy the children of a community, you have essentially destroyed the future of that community, and that was understood.
And voices raised for human rights.
Too often we have sat passively while the school districts shuttle our children all over town like cattle. The time has come for this to stop.
We were going to win. We did not doubt that at any point.
The place bustles with upscale shops and urban energy. On the surface, the neighborhood offers few clues to its past. But visit its southern edge, and pillars tell stories.
That's used to be where the blacks were, you know, and that's when we start planning it. That's the idea, so people will know what was there. You'll see the plaques and the pictures of things that happened.
The thing to understand about the black community, in both its good and bad aspects, is that the black community was a completely artificially created community. It was not a natural community. And in later decades, it will stop being a black community.
In the early 1900s, about 2,000 African Americans lived in Portland. They built a small community on the west side near the train station, where the men found work as waiters and redcaps. But as Portland's population grew, African Americans were pushed just across the river into an inner northeast district called Albina.
Originally, it was inhabited by Scandinavians, people of German descent. It was predominantly, nearly 100% white.
The black population jumped the river and located in the area around the Coliseum and the Moda Center today. So that became the center of the second black population.
As blacks moved into the area, whites began moving out into neighborhoods off limits to people of color.
1919, the Portland Realty Board declared it illegal, basically, to sell any homes to blacks in a white neighborhood because of their belief, their racial ideology that wherever blacks lived, they brought down property values.